Hi, I'm Beth. So this gentle yoga class is designed as a rainy day yoga class or yoga for rainy days. It's going to be an all floor practice. We're not going to use any props. We're going to flow through some repetitions, doing a little bit of gentle back bending, gentle hip opening work, give you a little bit of energy without being too taxing. This will be a gentle, slow, relaxing practice. So come on over to your mat. We're going to start on the floor and we're going to start in a side lying position. You can lie on whatever side feels more comfortable for you to start. And as we come to side lying, we're going to come all the way down on the side. And then I'm going to take my top knee, cross it in front with my bottom leg extended. Now you can have both knees bent in kind of a chair. I find that the bottom leg extended offers a little bit of more hip opening work. Take my hands and either touch them behind my ears or interlace them, is up to you. And I'm going to point my elbows toward you. So this is the starting position. From here, I'm going to move with my breath, start opening up my top elbow, curling into an open twist. So curling around my torso, and then coming back. And we'll repeat this a few times. So I'm starting really slow. This is the first movement, not pushing myself to go too far. Each time I unwind, that movement starts from the area of the belly button and sort of like a spiral staircase moves up the body, moves through my shoulder blades as my shoulder blades come more together on my back. And you'll see each time my elbow naturally reaches a little bit further. It's fine if when you unwind your bottom knee, or your top knee, look at my knee in the front. It might lift a little bit as you reach further back. And that's fine, and then it settles back and you come down. Eventually, you can see if you can work toward keeping the knee down and moving the back shoulder down if this gives you a better stretch. So each time in that, my back shoulder is able to reach a little bit further toward the floor. Let's do one more. And then close that up. You can simply roll over to the other side. I'm going to roll this way so that you can still see me. So again, bottom leg extended, top knee, top inside of the foot comes to the ground. So rolling all the way over to your side to start. And then hands either interlace or simply touch behind the head, elbows in front of you, so elbows toward me. And then breathing as you open up. Remember, the first time on the side, your elbow might not go very far. It might be parallel, maybe a little bit more. And then come back. And that's why we're repeating this, to gradually give the body a chance to start to unwind. And as I open, I'm lifting my head a little bit just for ease of talking to you and seeing you, but you can certainly keep your head all the way relaxed down on the ground for each repetition. A few more like this. So I tend to breathe when I open up, allowing the breath to flow into the chest, drawing in a little more breath as I open a little wider. And then exhale as I flow back forward. You might find that the reverse breath pattern is more comfortable for you as long as you're paying attention to the breath, letting that to be part of the practice. Let's do two more. I think we did about 6, but I was only loosely counting. Really, I'm doing it based on how this feels on my back, and this side is a little more sticky for me today, so it feels really nice. You can definitely stay longer on one side if you find that one side needs a little bit more love, a little bit more opening. And then finish on that side. Help yourself up And we'll come over to a hands and knees position. So set yourself up on hands and knees. You can always add padding. You can double over your mat, add a blanket or anything under your knees if that's needed to make your knees more comfortable. And you can place something on your hands or be on wrists too. Another tip is to turn your hands slightly so that it's your index finger rather than your middle facing forward. That'll help open at the shoulders a little bit. Take just a few cat-cows here. We arch up into a cat shape, trying to round as evenly as possible. You'll see my upper back moves more than my lower, but I'm giving that a try. And then breathing and allowing your spine to curve, coming into that arched cow shape. And 1 or 2 more times in each direction. And find your middle. So in your middle, the back of your neck is long, your lower abs, your ribs are gently joined in, your back body forms a tabletop position. So this is also called tabletop. And we're going to lift one leg so that the sole of the feet points to the ceiling, knee bent. So this is my right leg. And you don't have to come up high. Try to lift the leg evenly without shifting around in your torso. And then we'll repeat that a few times. A little bit motion in the hip joint, touching the knee back down, lifting back up. Now, if you'd like to continue working the spine here, when you go up, you can take a little bit of that spinal extension. And then when you come down, you can round the spine into your cat pose, perhaps drawing the knee in a little bit. So that's optional. You don't have to add that piece. I'll do one more like that. And then last time, come to your tabletop back, extend your leg, toes point down, and then cross your long straight leg over the other one. So you'll see my leg is moving away from you. Touch your toes down, and then I'm going to look over my shoulder in that direction. I'm going to look over with my left shoulder toward my toes. That'll stretch my body all along this side. You can even start walking your hands over in that direction to increase that stretch. And then walk yourself back around. And we'll do the second side. And I'll stay facing this way so you get an idea of how it looks on this side. You can come off your hands for a moment. If your wrists need a little stretch, turn your fingertips toward you. Rock a little bit on your wrists. All right, and then we'll move to that same sequence on the other side. So hands down into the shoulders. Find your tabletop position. Lift your left leg or whatever your second leg is so the sole of the feet faces the ceiling. So you can be here, you can be here. You can go up and down a few times. See if you can feel that movement happen from where the leg attaches at the pelvic girdle. And then you have the option of adding your cat-cow, so going into a cow with an arch back, and then rounding the back into a cat shape. A few times like that. And last one. For this last one, we hold up the knee, back leg straightens out long, so push the heel away from you, and then cross it over the bottom leg so that your toes can touch down. And I'll start glancing over my shoulder toward my toes and maybe reaching my hands a little bit in that direction to increase the stretch on the opposite side of the body. Staying here and breathing for a few moments, and then coming back through center. All right, one last thing on hands and knees. We'll do a little bit of a twist, very similar to what we opened with, side lying, except we'll be on hands and knees. So on hands and knees, I'm going to start facing you. Take your hand facing me, place it just at your ear. So elbow down to start. Watch your elbow as it starts to lift out to the side, opening your body out to the side. Again, a little bit of a twist. And then come back down, closing the elbow. You could reach the elbow all the way over to the opposite arm if you'd like. And a few more times like this, opening up to the side. Remember, you might be here. You might be further than me. It's all good. If you are practicing on a rainy, cloudy day like me, you might want to take it a little bit more easy, a little softer in your body. Last time, come back down and we'll switch to the other side. So opposite hand touches right behind the ear, starting with the elbow down. Take your eye gaze toward your elbow as it lifts open and up. And then comes back down. Option to come all the way in to touch the opposite arm. It's completely okay if this side feels different. Of course, our bodies are different side to side. One more on this side. And then release. If you'd like to take another cat-cow in the middle, you can. We're going to shift around and come to a seated position. So from seated, we're going to take the soles of the feet together in a cobbler's pose. Now here's where you might want to sit up on a blanket. And what that does is it helps take the rounding out of our spine. So I'll shift over for a second. If you find that when you're seated like this, you're like this, that's going to feel uncomfortable for your spine. And for those with osteoporosis, it can be not good for the spine. So we want to try to sit upright. Sitting our sits bones on a little something will help us get that long, upright length. It doesn't matter as much where your knees are, although sitting on something can also help the knees to go a little lower, and that might make it feel comfortable as well. Another option is just to slide the feet away from your body a little bit more. So here we're going to go from cobbler to a half cobbler, a half butterfly. Take your left foot, I'm mirroring you, in closer to your body, extend your right out to the side. Again, it doesn't matter how far, we're not going for any type of certain width. You can wiggle around here a little bit to allow this to be comfortable for you. And we'll do a little twisting series here. So take a breath in, remember that twist from the belly button rising up through your rib cage, through your upper body, twist toward the extended leg, rest your hands wherever they go. And then with your next breath, twist away, twisting toward the bent leg, reaching behind you with the left hand. And you can place the right over your leg to help you a little bit in this twist. Come back through center. Keep breathing as you twist. So you might inhale as you move through center. Exhale as you land in your twist. Twist a little further. Inhale back through center. I'm using my hands to gently help, not to pull or tug. Exhale through to the other side. Now 2 more. This time I'm going to give you 1 more option. As you twist toward the bent leg, hand comes behind you. And if you'd like, you can take some weight into that hand. Lift your hips by pressing into the shin of the front leg. And a little bit of lift, maybe reach the arm overhead. And then come back down. So that's completely optional. Give you a little bit more of a back bend and a little bit more of a hip stretch. 1 more time. If you'd like to do that, your left hand comes behind you. You're going to be pressing into your front left calf. pressing into your extended right foot, and then your right arm can reach out long if you want to add that length. Nice. Rest back down. Take your feet into your cobblers for a moment, and then we'll switch. So now it's your left leg that's extended. Right comes a little closer to your groin. Always take a moment to adjust as needed so that you feel good in this new position. And we'll start with a simple twist. Take a breath in, be tall, and as you exhale, wind around your spine toward the extended leg, letting your hands reach wherever they reach. Breathe in, wind the opposite direction toward the bent knee. Left hand might come over the thigh, right hand behind you for support. Inhale back through center, unwind, twist the other way. Breathe and come back. As you turn, this is more of a closed twist. You can place the back hand further behind you, leaning back with a long back if you need more room for your body here. One more time like that. All right, then on these last two, you have the option to add the little lift. So as you turn toward the bent knee, reach the right arm, right hand out behind you, find good contact with the floor. You can also have a block under the hand. Press into your front calf, your front foot, your extended leg shin. Lift your hips up. They can be here. They can go a little higher. And if you'd like to add the left arm long, you can do that. And then last time, twisting toward the extended leg. Revolving back around, twisting in the other direction. Add the lift if you like. Hold for a moment. Exhale and release. Feet come together one more time in your cobbler's pose or butterfly. And this time, slide your feet a little bit further away from your body. Scooch a little bit so that you are on your sits bones. And we'll take a little bit of a forward fold. So as you come forward, you can hold your hands on your calves, your shins, and use that to kind of shift back and forth, leverage your body forward. You might think of yourself like a cobra, the snake charmer, bringing the cobra out of the basket, moving back and forth, exploring with your body, seeing if there's any more room to wriggle forward with a long back. And then wherever, it kind of your body stops you and says, this is it, just hold there for a few breaths. So I'm just at a little bit of a lean forward. In fact, I'll shift to the side so you can see that. Did my little wiggle. And then about here is where my forward fold distance is. I can gently pull in my hand, maybe go a little further, but that's where I am with a long extended back. And I'm going to stay right here. Feel a little bit of that action in my hip flexors. All right, and then release, and we're going to return to the back, this time lying on your back. So come all the way down to your back. Lie on your back with the soles of your feet on the floor. And we're going to do a few bridge flows here. So you want to slide your feet in as comfortably close to your bottom as you can. So they might not be as close as I can. Having the feet closer and the shins more parallel or more perpendicular to the floor is going to help you with your lift. So sometimes once we lay back, then we can actually scooch our bottom closer to our feet rather than our feet closer to our bottom. Once you get there, you want to arrange your feet so that the toes are parallel. The feet are parallel to each other. Toes are pointed away from you, about hip width. So take your knees and touch them together for a moment. Feel how your knees are now closer together than your feet. And then open your knees so that they're wider than your feet. And try to find a stable point in the middle where your feet, your knees are relatively parallel. That's going to give you the most strength. You have a few options for your arms. They can come out to your side, palms down, palms up. You can snuggle your elbows in close, bend them, and point your fingertips to the sky. I'll start with this version. So when we start to lift, we're going to press down evenly into the feet and the backs of the arms to start to float the hips or lift the hips. They might not float. Lift them off the ground without changing that distance between our legs. So keeping our legs the same width, parallel, pushing into the feet, allowing the muscles of the glutes, that's our butt muscles, to help but not take over. So you want to use your hamstrings as well. You also want to use the front body to help with that lift because we're stretching across the front body in this back bend, moving everything below the belly button away. Everything above the belly button actually comes more close to our head. And you want to keep your head looking toward the ceiling, not off to the side like I am. And then slowly roll that back down. And we're going to come right back up. So I like to inhale, pushing up. And you don't have to stay. Whenever you get to where you get to, allow that to kind of be a ping to send you back down. As long as you're slowly, mindfully going in each direction. So slowly, mindfully going up. Slowly, mindfully rolling down. When you come up, maybe you come up to the lower ribs. Maybe you come a little bit higher to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. You also have the option of coming up, adding the arms, coming up with the legs, maybe reaching up overhead, and then shifting the arms back down when you come down. Let's do 2 more. Flowing. Trying to take 1 breath as you go up and 1 breath as you go down. And then last one, I'm going to inhale as I come up. Hold for just a second here. I'm going to see if I can take a nice, long, slow exhale as I land back down. Nice. You might want to windshield wiper your knees, allowing your legs to move back and forth a few times. We are going to end this practice in child's pose. So come to one side, roll up, and then for your child's pose, you'll find your comfortable child's pose, touching the toes together, taking the knees as wide apart as gives you room for your body that feels comfortable for you. So I like wider knees. You might like a more rounded child's with closer knees. Either is fine. Start to hinge from your hips, hinge from that hip joint, keeping your hips back toward your heels, but certainly okay if they raise. As you stretch your arms out away, we're going to do an extended child's pose. So arms stretch out away. And then lift up a little bit, so not all the way, but enough that you can start walking your hands toward me. Reaching away more with the inside hand and that same hip. So getting one more last long lateral side stretch. Then walk your hands back through center. Reach in the opposite direction, reaching the fingertips, the hips away from each other. Back through center one more time. And this time, if you want to adjust and do a different version of child's, you can have your elbows on the ground, hands tucked behind the neck. You can reach your hands back toward your feet. So any version of child's that you like there to finish this practice, I encourage you to stay there for a little bit. Give your body a chance to rest after this little bit of work. It wasn't hard work, but a little bit of work that we did in this rainy day practice. So if you like this practice, please do give me a little like below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to be updated. I have lots more videos. I'll link to some up here that you can try, and comment if there's anything that you would like to see on the channel. I'm always open to suggestions. Thanks so much for joining me today.